Hello friends, let's continue with our series. For the lecture number 18, we have the return values and recursion. Let's begin. So, let's learn about return values. A function can return a value to the part of the program that called it. The return statement is used to send a result back. Once return is executed, the function ends. Alright. So basically a function is able to return a value to the part of the program that called it. This essentially means that when you use the return function or when you use the return statement, it is able to send the result back to wherever it was called or needed. Right? The return statement is used to send a result back. Once the result is executed, the function ends. Alright. We have a program right now. We will come back to it. Right now we'll look at the theory first and then we'll move on to the program. So the key points: return gives output from the function. Without return, a function returns none by default. Alright. So whenever you use the return statement, it provides the output from within the function, from the function itself. It is basically used to return a value to the function. Once the value is returned, it could be an output, or it could be like a statement, or it could be like a mathematical calculation, and once you return it, it becomes the output which is returned by the function itself, or which is, you can say, which is presented by the function itself. Alright, I will explain you with the code. Do not worry if you are not able to make the complete sense of my words. So, alright, you can return any data type: numbered, string, list, etc. And even more data types other than these. So that was mainly what return was about. Now let's get to know about recursion and pay very close attention. This is a really important topic in this course, so you really need to pay attention here. Alright, so what is recursion? Recursion is when a function calls itself to solve a smaller problem or a smaller part of the program or the problem itself. Okay, so when recursion is called, it basically means a function calls itself. You have to remember it, you have to understand it. A function calls itself is what a recursion is, and the reason is to solve a smaller part of the problem. Alright, it is useful for problems that can be broken down into similar sub problems like factorial, Fibonacci series, and so on. An important note: a recursive function must have a base case to stop calling itself. Alright, it is always necessary that your recursive function must have a base case, a terminating condition. The condition when arrived, it should always arrive, and the condition when arrived should stop the recursive function from calling itself any longer. Alright, so it will keep on calling itself, it will keep on calling itself again and again until it hits the base case or the terminating condition. Once it hits the base case or the terminating condition, it will stop calling itself. That's how it is used, and that's the benefit of a recursion. Without a base case, recursion causes an infinite loop and leads to a stack overflow error. Alright, you don't have to pay a lot of attention to this. You just know that whenever you use the recursion, you also use a base condition to stop it. Now let's see our code. Alright, as you can see, the output is 8. So first of all, okay, let's begin here. For the sake of simplicity, we'll be beginning from here. So as you can see, there is a function. The name of the function is result. Alright, so in the result function, or the variable, I'm sorry, variable, in the result variable, you initiate it with the value of add. This add function, we have seen the functions and operations in Python. It's the add function for two numbers. We are going to add two numbers present inside the parameter. Then we have the print function, which will be printing a result. Alright, this will be printing a result. The value of the add operation gets stored into the result. Then we print the result, which means we print the value of the addition of the numbers, which is 8. Now if you see this, how does result know exactly what to do with the add function of 3 and 5, right? So we define a function add. Alright, we define a function add. The name of the function is add. The parameters are a and b, and we return a plus b. Alright, we are returning what? A plus b. Now once you return a plus b, you have a function add ab. The job of this function is to return the a plus b summation. Alright, the sum of a plus b. So when you go here, the result gets stored with a value of 3 and 5, and we print the result, and the output is 8. And now you can use add multiple times to print multiple values and get multiple results. However, provided the condition, you are able to do this one at a time. Alright, let me comment it out. This is an incomplete function. We will see anyways what is happening here. We define a function called countdown. The name of this function is countdown. The parameter is n. If the value of n is greater than 0, it will print n. It will also call the function again, which is countdown, and instead of n we have the value n minus 1, and else will print done. Alright, so it will look complicated at first, but we will also know more about it later. For now, I hope you are able to understand this. Thank you for watching.